On a cold November night, Ethan was sitting in front of his computer. It was 3:30 in the morning. The apartment was dead silent. He was the only one there. He was just looking for something to pass the time, something different. And then he found a strange website full of symbols and old incantations. Back then, he didn't know that the laugh he let out while saying, "This is all nonsense," would be the last normal laugh of his life. The story you're about to hear is real, and unfortunately, Ethan is still living it. Ethan was just a regular 24-year-old guy working in a small software company in downtown Boston. He liked spending time online, especially when he got home late from work and couldn't sleep. That night was like any other, except he was bored out of his mind. Social media, YouTube, even games didn't excite him anymore. So he decided to look for something new, something a little strange. He stumbled upon a site called The Forgotten Secrets, a pitch-black page filled with writings about ancient magic and spells. Ethan smirked to himself. Who actually believes in this stuff anymore? But curiosity made him keep scrolling. He found a page titled Ritual to Communicate with the Other Side, and below it was an incantation in Old English, followed by a modern translation. The spell claimed it could make the person see hidden things and hear voices from other realms. Underneath, a warning was written: "Do not attempt this unless you are ready to face the consequences." Ethan laughed again. Consequences? Is this a horror movie? And he decided to try it, just for fun. He stood up in the middle of his room and began reciting the incantation out loud. He felt silly doing it, but he kept going. "Spirits of the dark, hear my call. Open the gates to the hidden knowledge." He repeated it 5 times, exactly as the site instructed. When he finished, he waited. Nothing happened. The room was the same, the apartment still silent. Ethan chuckled, shaking his head. Exactly what I expected. Who could possibly believe this crap? He sat back at his desk, closed the site, and thought about telling his coworkers the next day how he tried an online magic spell. But 30 minutes later, the strange things began. Ethan was watching a random YouTube video when he heard a faint tapping sound coming from the kitchen, like someone knocking on the wall. He got up, checked the kitchen. Nothing. But then the tapping came back, louder this time. What the hell? This time the sound came from the bathroom. Heart racing, Ethan walked over, switched on the light. Again, nothing. But when he returned to his room, the computer was off. The video was gone. The screen was pitch black. He tried turning the PC back on, but it wouldn't start. And then he heard his own voice echoing inside the apartment. "Spirits of the dark, hear my call. Open the gates to the hidden knowledge." That's my voice. How? The voice kept repeating, getting more distorted each time. The apartment lights began flickering on and off by themselves. He rushed to the window, looking for someone, anyone, but the street below was completely empty. No cars, no people. Even the street lamp was off, which was strange because at 4 a.m. there was usually someone passing by. He shut the window quickly. The air inside felt ice cold, even though the heater was off and it had been warm just minutes earlier. Then his phone rang, an unknown number. He answered with a shaky hand. "Hello?" No reply, just heavy breathing, like someone was running from something. He hung up immediately, but the phone rang again. This time, when he picked up, "Ethan, why did you wake us?" Ethan dropped the phone, his hands trembling. Sweat dripped down his forehead despite the freezing air. He remembered the spell. Could it be? No, that was impossible. Then came the sound of a door unlocking. His front door. He was sure he had locked it. "Who's there?" No answer. Only slow, heavy steps crossing the living room. Ethan grabbed a kitchen knife and hid behind his bed. The footsteps stopped right outside his bedroom door. Seconds dragged by in absolute silence, silence so heavy it was worse than any sound. Then a loud knock. "Ethan, come. We're here just like you asked." The voice was cold, inhuman. Ethan froze, unable to move. The door slowly creaked open, and a long, shapeless shadow slid into the room. It didn't have a face, but it moved like it was alive. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't mean." "It's too late, Ethan. We're here now, and we're not leaving." Ethan bolted from the room, rushing past the shadow toward the front door, but it wouldn't open, even with the keys in his hand. He ran back to the window, but outside there was no street anymore, just endless blackness. It was like the apartment had shifted to another world entirely. He stumbled into the bathroom, only to find writing smeared across the mirror in deep red. "No escape." He screamed, backing away. Whispering voices filled the apartment, mixed with chilling laughter and the sound of faint sobbing. He tried the landline, dead. His phone wouldn't turn on. "I just want things back the way they were. Please, leave me alone." "We were called. We came. We stay. This is our home now." Ethan curled up in the corner of the living room, rocking back and forth as the sounds grew louder and more chaotic. Then, silence. The sudden quiet was worse than the noise. Slowly, Ethan lifted his head. The apartment was back to normal. Lights on, everything in place. It was 7:30 a.m. Was that a dream? Cautiously, he walked around. Everything looked fine. Even his computer was on again, the same site still open. He laughed nervously. "Yeah, it must have been my imagination." He went to take a shower, wanting to forget everything. But when he stepped into the bathroom, the red writing was still there. No escape. He touched it. It was real. Not a dream. And then his phone rang again. Unknown number. "Hello?" "We're inside you now, Ethan. We're part of you, and we're never leaving." Ethan looked into the living room mirror and saw himself, but not really. His eyes were pitch black, and a twisted smile stretched across his face. From that day, Ethan wasn't Ethan anymore. His friends and family noticed the change, talking to himself, laughing at random, staring at people in unsettling ways. And every night he hears the voices in his head telling him to do things. When he tried to revisit the website to find a way to undo the spell, it was gone, like it had never existed. And now, Ethan still walks among us, but he's not like us anymore. Whenever he sees someone messing with online spells for fun, he smiles, a dark, knowing smile, because soon they'll be his partners. This isn't just a horror story, it's a warning. There's no such thing as harmless magic, no such thing as an innocent peek into the other side. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. And Ethan, he thought it was all just a game. So tell me in the comments, do you believe this story, or do you think it's just fiction? And tonight, if you hear strange noises in your home, maybe Ethan has decided to share his experience with you. Subscribe for more terrifying